The Lion King is directed by Jon Favreau and is a retelling of the 1994 Disney classic of the same name. As a fan of Disney movies, I have to say that thus far, at least, I have been woefully unimpressed by Disney's attempts to reimagine their animated classics as live-action movies, and The Lion King is no exception. There's going to be a whole lot of negativity moving forward, so let me start with the positives. Or positive, singular. With a few notable exceptions, the CGI is amazing, really. They went out of their way to make all the animals in this movie as photorealistic as possible, and it shows in the details. There are times when it feels more like you're watching an animal documentary rather than an animated story. Unfortunately, this success, and it is a success, is a major contributing factor to one of The Lion King's biggest issues. Let me explain. Have you ever looked at the face of a cat, or a bird, or a warthog, and taken notice of the range of emotions represented in the expressions of said animal's face? If not, feel free to do so now. Now imagine a movie cast entirely by characters who have the same range of facial expressions as the aforementioned cat, or bird, or warthog. You see where I'm going with this? It doesn't matter how good the performance of the actor is if the facial expressions of the character they're voicing never change. It just doesn't work. It makes it near impossible to get emotionally invested in what's happening. The hyenas had the most noticeable and recognizable facial expressions of the bunch, and they also felt the least real. As far as the story goes, there's nothing new here. Normally I would say that's a good thing, except that there's also nothing as good either. In every instance, every character is a step, or 2 or 5, down from the original. And that sucks because there are a couple of actors here who are among my absolute favorites. For starters, Chiwetel Ejiofor has been amongst my favorite actors for over a decade now. Serenity, Kinky Boots, Children of Men, Red Belt, 12 Years a Slave, the dude knocks it out of the park every single time. And he does a fine job here, but we only get his voice, not his actual acting. Note my previous complaint. And when it comes to voices, sorry Chiwetel, but Jeremy Irons set the standard, and you do not rise to meet it. It doesn't help that they butchered Scar's song, Be Prepared. I get why. I mean, there's no way they could have remade that scene from the original, but they didn't even try. And I hate to say this, but as much as I love James Earl Jones, and I do love James Earl Jones, the dude is 88 years old, which means he would have been 53-ish when he did the original, and his delivery is just not the same. There are a number of notable names in the cast list. Donald Glover is the adult version of Simba. Beyonce, who is not an actress for a reason, is the adult version of Nala. Billy Eichner is Timon. Seth Rogen is Pumbaa. John Oliver is Zazu. John Kani is Rafiki. And Florence Kasumba, Keegan-Michael Key, and Eric Andre play the hyenas Shinzi, Kamari, and Azizi, though visually I have no idea how to tell them apart. And of all of these actors, there's not a single one of them that stands out as being particularly good. Even the comedic roles, those being Timon and Pumbaa and Kamari and Azizi, aren't particularly funny. I mean, they had Keegan-Michael Key in there and managed to have him not be funny in scenes that were meant to be funny. How do you do that? What little funny there was came mostly from Billy Eichner as Timon, but even then, the role was originally voiced by Nathan Lane. Sorry, Billy, you're in the same boat with Chiwetel. Nathan set the bar, and you did not rise to meet it. On a side note, what is it with comedians and explaining why sight gags are funny? There were a few times in this movie where something funny would happen, and the next line simply explained why what you just saw was supposed to be funny, thus making it not funny. I will concede that there was one scene that was not only funny, but downright laugh-out-loud hilarious. It's the scene where Timon and Pumbaa distract the hyenas near the end. I won't spoil it, but it was really clever and a great way to not have to compete with Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella's Hawaiian barbecue scene. Good call. A note on singing. I hate pop music, so naturally I hate it when they cast pop singers in theatrical roles. One exception to this would be Mandy Moore as Rapunzel in Tangled. She was pretty fantastic. Apparently, it is next to impossible to get it through their thick skulls that the song they are singing is not meant to be an opportunity for them to show off their vocal prowess. It is meant to tell a story. And dear pop singer, when your vocal runs, which are identical to all the vocal runs you put in every song on your last album, distract from the moment in the song it is supposed to be supporting, you've just ruined it for everyone. This is why the pop covers of most songs are never as good. As an example, The Idina Menzel version of Let It Go from Frozen peaked at 11 on the singles chart back in 2013, while Demi Lovato's cover of Same peaked at 42. Just saying. Anyway, I really wanted to like this movie, and I guess it's not bad. It's just nowhere near as good as the original. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Kudos to Jon Favreau for staying true to the original story, but the casting of pop singers and comedians, as opposed to theater and voiceover vets, combined with the all-too-real CGI, make this a pretty meh movie, which is the same term I think I've used for all the live-action Disney remakes I've seen thus far. This does not bode well for those still to come. And that's it for this review. Thanks for tagging along, and I'll see you back here next week with another one.